A Way Out is one of the most unique co-op experiences I've played in a long time, and I've played a lot of co-op-centric games in the past decade. Games like Resident Evil 5, Overcooked, Gears of War, and Warframe, but A Way Out feels different. It is in a lot of ways like a drama movie, and gives off the same vibes you would get by watching something like The Shawshank Redemption. But A Way Out delivers a lot more than just a simple, let's escape prison story. It's a game focused more on the characters of the journey rather than the journey and destinations itself, as the destinations are mostly just inconvenient bumps in the road.
Oh shit! This is gonna be tight!
The story dives into the struggles and minds, including some family problems, of two separate, albeit a lot alike, individuals. The first is Vincent, a methodical patient man that married his high school sweetheart, who now is pregnant with their first child. Although his life was starting to work out, with Vincent working a steady banker job, shit hit the fan after meeting with a man named Harvey. Not a lot of detail is given to who Harvey is or why Vincent got into the amount of trouble he's in, but it landed him in prison, so it must have been pretty significant. The other is Leo, who is a brash and hot-headed man whose first instinct is to go in guns blazing rather than think strategically about his choices. Basically, he's the polar opposite of Vincent in a lot of ways. However, like Vincent, Leo is also a family man with a loving and supporting wife and a child of his own, a son named Alex. He'll do anything for his family, and that's the feeling you get from Leo right off the bat. Coincidentally, Leo also landed himself in the slammer because of the actions of the same Harvey that sent Vincent there. These will be the characters you and your co-op partner will be playing as throughout the game. The two soon start crossing paths throughout the first day or two, and Leo gets himself in a few scraps. Vincent, being the nice guy that he is, helps Leo out. Eventually, Leo comes up with a plan to escape and hunt Harvey down and extract revenge. Hesitant with the idea at first, he agrees to bring Vincent along with him, because Vincent claims he wants revenge on Harvey too. This sets off the chain of events in the rest of the game, a journey for vengeance. You'll go from escaping prison to running through the wilderness to attempt to outrun the police, and eventually make it to the city to meet up with your families and begin your plan to track Harvey down. The variety in areas actually came as a surprise to me, as I knew absolutely nothing of the game before playing it. And what makes it so interesting is the amount of varied gameplay that each area differs on and possesses. For example, while you're running through the forest, it becomes sort of like a stealth mission with some QTEs thrown in, when eventually you'll make it to a house where an elderly couple resides, in which you can move about it in a couple of different ways. One is by going in balls deep by taking the couple by force before the police are called, or the other is by attempting to sneak your way around and freeing horses to cause a distraction. Then later in that same chapter, you encounter a section in which one player drives and the other fends off the police as you attempt to outrun their vehicles on an old dirt country road, twisting and turning throughout the forest you just ran through on foot. These different scenarios presented caused my friend and I to stop and think about how to tackle certain areas before we went in, and pretty much kept us on our toes the entire time, as we weren't entirely sure what fresh twists the game would take next. Not to mention the numerous objects and items within each area that made the world more interactable and felt lived in. And that's part of the reason I feel A Way Out is so unique compared to a lot of other co-op games out there. The gameplay is so varied that I can't pin it to just one genre. Is the gameplay polished and perfect? Well, not really, but it's decent enough that it played fine, and I never had trouble with it at any point through my playthroughs. I was entertained and invested the entire time. As far as the story goes, it's also nothing to entirely blow you out of the water. If I'm being honest, the script and dialogue are like any other B action movie, or something you would see out of a student movie project. Not to say it's awful, but the writing isn't exactly compelling either. Despite this, each location and area does a good job setting up and directly corresponds with the actions happening in the story. You never feel like the game is just dragging you around from set piece to set piece just for show. Every locale is stunning in its own way with a reason to be there. One of the most memorable events and areas in the game for me was the hospital ambush section. In this section, the cops arrive at the hospital Vincent's wife is in an attempt to arrest both Leo and Vincent before they can escape the building. What made this specific place so memorable was the chaos, the intensity, and most of all the cinematography. The way the scene was shot in one single continuous shot and presented made for a beautifully smooth action scene that shifted focus seamlessly. This made an immersive experience within the scene, and the game has much more of this type of camera play along with some very cool split-screen ideas. And this unique spin on split-screen is the juxt of the entire game. You see it and experience it in almost every minute of playing. The camera is shifting focus on a character's specific actions, or to show the differences in what each one is experiencing. As one example in the game, Vincent could be out talking to folks in a trailer park, solving some wife's problems with her husband, while Leo tries to hit a few baseballs. Small, I know, but you get to watch both things happen and play it at the same time, which is what makes it so interesting. In the case of the hospital section, seeing both of us running, dodging, and turning was enough to get us both tense and invested. After thinking about the direction of the game, especially now after a second playthrough on my second channel, I realized something. A Way Out isn't just about the characters or their dependence on one another in their journey, but rather the two players experiencing the game side by side, becoming attached to it in a way not many other games can bring. The way the players become dependent on one another in the 6 to 8 hour journey is unlike anything I've ever played. And believe me when I say this, 6 to 8 hours for a game such as this, in my opinion, is the perfect length. A Way Out ends right before it starts to overstay its welcome, and oh boy, does it end in such a way that's not only unexpected, but also reflective of the journey had. The culmination of feelings, investment, and plot tie into one of the most memorable endings to a co-op experience I've ever had. Spoilers are ahead for the ending of A Way Out. You've been warned. The final chapter of the game comes as Leo and Vincent kill Harvey after assaulting his compound and end up back in the city. To much the surprise of both my friend and I, Vincent was misleading and manipulating Leo the entire time. Vincent was actually an undercover cop meant to track down Harvey and his accomplices after a sting operation gone wrong. Vincent's brother Gary was also an undercover cop partnered in crime with Leo. In a meetup with Harvey, Gary ends up dead, Harvey ditches the scene and leaves Leo to the wolves. As it turns out, in an act of wanting revenge, Vincent goes undercover in the prison that Leo was placed in order to gain his trust to bring Harvey to justice. The idea of the bad guy turned cop twist isn't what was intriguing or surprising about the game. I mean, it's been done before in other forms of media numerous times. But no, it was the idea that, as the audience, we were caught off guard. We had just gone on this journey together, built up our own motivation and personalities with these characters, and for it to all to culminate into betrayal was shocking. I myself had played Vincent, and it felt like somewhere deep down I had always known this truth, but I let this other version of me become my reality. And my friend, who played Leo, was just as shocked and hurt as Leo actually was in the game. We both had felt like we had become our characters. I know I've used the words invested and immersed a lot in this video, but those are the two words that keep coming back to my head as I'm continually thinking about my experience, and we haven't even gotten to the finale yet. The finale sees one last showdown between Leo and Vincent, as they hunt and track each other down to a lone warehouse and engage in a firefight, slowly chipping away at one another's health bars, slowly sealing the fates of the two. And, like the rest of the game, it can go one of two ways, Leo's way or Vincent's. Basically, this just ends in either one of the characters' timely death and results in a different ending depending on which one bites the dust. The fact that each choice, including the ending, directly affects how the next events play out each and every time makes the experience better on a second or even third playthrough. This makes A Way Out a game to revisit in the future, and for an ending like this to make both my friend and I stay on the edge of our seats as we slowly hunt one another down and fight to the death, made this a somewhat sad and depressing end to our story together, and that's something I won't be forgetting for a long time. Like I've stated over and over and over again in this video, I must sound like a broken record at this point, A Way Out is one of the most unique couch co-op experiences I've had in a long time. Though some aspects of the game might not break any new ground, it's a game that I'll be keeping the memories of for a long time to come, and later down the road to look back on to compare new experiences to in the future. A Way Out is how any given co-op game should be in its minute-to-minute experience and gameplay, and I feel it has set a new standard for co-op games to come.
Carol, I just want to say that I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the broken promises and not being there when you needed me. I'm sorry for no longer being the man you fell in love with. My biggest regrets are all the moments we didn't get to spend together. From now on, I don't want to miss a second together with you and our beautiful daughter. If you let me, I'll be the husband you once loved and the father I know I can be. Yours forever, Vincent.
Thank you to everyone who watched this video and the first video in Third Impressions. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe for more discussions, reviews, and other gaming-related videos. If you'd like, Garrett from Ally Assessment and I also have a Let's Play channel here on YouTube called SR Plays. And if you'd like to follow us on Twitter and support us on Patreon so we can keep making great content like this video, be sure to check those pages as well. Links will be in the description below. Until next time, guys, this is Ian signing out.